Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fragging. This is episode 3 with your two hosts, Christoph and myself, Aina. This week, we're talking.
Talking, indeed, yes.
I was kind of expecting you to talk about something. I don't know if we
Wow, wow,
discussed
wow, wow,
this.
wow.
We're gonna talk. Yeah.
Yeah, this week we had a bit of an issue coming up with a few things to talk about. You know, it's one of those weeks where you're kind of brain dead and you just don't have anything to say, or you're just a bot and all you want to do is scroll on Instagram and look at memes, and that's all your brain can come up with. So it was a bit of a effort to get here, but we're here now.
So, yeah, big news. Now, at time of recording, this is Wednesday. So tomorrow, at some point, there's going to be a big thing happening. The Mars rover is landing, the new one. It's called, I think, Perseverance. And yeah, it's landing on Mars at some point tomorrow, which I find just really amazing.
Sad Elon Musk noises.
Sad. Oh, wow. Yeah, NASA sent it out, I think, 7 months ago. So yeah,
Oh, and they never told us.
and they never told us. They probably did tell us, Christoph.
Yeah,
Except
it was
we
just no one really cares about space travel anymore.
Well, I'm just glad that I saw a video on it yesterday from Mark Rober. I don't know, you might follow him on
Oh, I do know him, yeah.
YouTube. He does a lot of science content. He worked on the last Mars rover. I don't know what its name was. I think it was like yeah, it was
Curiosity?
Curiosity, the one that
Yeah.
died a little while ago. Um, it yeah, so he worked on that, but he made a video about this one a few days ago, and I saw it last night, and I was like, "Yo, this is really interesting. This is really cool." So I decided, boom, I'll check it out.
I actually remember when the other one landed on Mars, I think. It was in like the newspaper and stuff. It was like ages ago though.
Yeah, they're doing like a live stream, um, at some point. Uh, Obviously I don't know the times because I just wasn't prepared. But hey, Perseverance rover, yeah, woo. And it's landing. It's doing it all autonomous, coming in from like 20,000 kilometers an hour down to obviously zero when it lands, in like 7 minutes, all autonomous. And because there's like a 12-minute delay between here and Mars, like as soon as we get the notification that the Mars rover has entered the atmosphere, the Mars rover has already 5 minutes ago either landed or crashed, and we still have to wait to see what's.
Which
Yeah,
is fair.
exactly.
We'll get him next time.
But yeah, so the objective of this Mars rover, what he's he, what this robot is trying to do is it's trying to ascertain whether there was life on Mars. So what it's going to do is it's going to drill out little pellets of the ground and then drop them out, and then they can be collected by a future mission. They're setting up another mission to Mars to collect all the samples to bring them back to Earth to test them. And yeah, I found that really cool. And it even has a Martian helicopter that they're gonna use to do some like scouting.
Wait, what? So like a
Yeah,
drone
it's a drone.
basically. Wow. Okay.
which yeah, I found that pretty cool.
You can probably, I guess, cover more distance
Yeah,
that
and
way.
it's also going to be used for like scouting terrain. Oh, and another
Yeah.
thing about this rover is that like all of the other ones um have had pretty big like what do they call them? I do not know what they call them. Basically, it's like a big possible area of where it might land. And this one, because they've been able to do so many more calculations with like better flight technology and better like supercomputers that are doing all the calculations, they have lowered like the what is the word? Error. Yeah, that's the word. They've lowered the like error of where it might land, so they've chosen a super tiny um location in one of the Martian craters. And so what this crater was, it used to be a lake filled with liquid water, but then when Mars froze itself, obviously all the water went away. And yeah, so it's gonna be the most likely place that life would have been on Mars if there were to ever have been life on Mars.
But like, wouldn't that be a bit terrifying if we find out that life was on Mars? Like, yo, there was actually an ancient civilization on Mars, and yeah, they're all dead now, and this is why, And then we keep going. Like, there's a movie. It came out a few years ago where they find this teeny weeny little bug on Mars, and it starts growing and growing, and then it eats the lab, not the lab rat in the ISS, and then it breaks out and starts killing people, and then they find out that that's why the civilization on Mars is gone. It's because they tried to kill it, and it just survived. And then at the end, it makes it back to Earth, and it's like, whew, well, we're next.
Yeah, that's a terrifying thought. But the
Yeah,
thing is, they don't really expect that there will have been like big civilizations. It's more just to see if that there were like microorganisms and like sort of, yeah,
bugs.
super primitive life forms. Just sort of as a
Well,
concept, you know?
it was probably more because they say that there's a lot of rivers because there's like canyons and stuff. So they say that there used to be like rivers
Well, it
on
used to be
Mars.
pretty much like
So there was
Earth.
probably something. Yeah, so there probably was just something like fish or something. Like what we were before we came out of the water.
Mm. Or even possibly before that, like back when it used to be all like little like bugs or even like just bacteria or something similar to that.
Yeah. Well, I already can't wait for the conspiracies. Like, oh, they never sent a rover to Mars. That's just NASA trying to gain a bit of fame. Oh, not fake.
Oh,
Uh,
so disappointing.
I mean, it's like, wouldn't you want to believe in the like moon landing
Exactly.
because it's like a great achievement?
And it's the same with like why so after the moon landing, the Russians, like the USSR at the time, sent out a press release being like, yeah, they actually made it to the moon. They beat us to the moon. Like to put man on the moon, that's disappointing. Like, if you think it's such a conspiracy, why would the literal opposition side of the space race come out and say, yeah, no, you actually did it?
Well, it could be that they're just saying that to be nice. They don't actually know because people say the reason they faked it was to bankrupt the USSR, so that the USSR just believed it, and they were saying that they believed it.
Ah, man, these conspiracies are madness,
The thing
crazy.
is, they're at the same time that Neil Armstrong was landing on the moon, the Russians were actually sending like a probe, like something like we are now, to the moon, and it crashed, and that's why they covered it up. They said, "Oh, it never happened. Shh, no, we didn't do anything," because basically, it crashed and broke and failed and whatever. And apparently, actually, in some of the recordings, you can actually see the probe gliding by in the atmosphere, gliding by in the background on some of the
That's
recordings.
that's
I
quite
don't know if
derpy.
that's 100% true, but it's like, it's funny because it's like, oh, there's the aliens. No, those are just the Russians coming in second place.
The aliens or are they Russians?
Turns out, actually, I think the Chinese want to get to the moon soon. They're going in 1 or 2 years. I think they want to land on the moon. Yeah, so that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, it's mad. Space travel. Still, we're a long way off from what they have in Star Wars these days.
Pew pew. Yeah. It's like I don't know if you remember that scene in the Phantom Menace where the droids are landing on Naboo, the planet.
Episode one.
All the ships are
Oh
landing, and
yeah,
all the tanks and troop
yeah.
carriers are coming out and everything. That's what the aliens on Mars see when we arrive. Deploying our troops.
Yes, all whatever 8 people.
Oh, I wonder though, like, if it well, apparently, I think it's been extended now, but they say that the ISS is going to the funding is going to drop at some point. I don't know if it actually will, but they say that it might, and that'd be sad seeing it burn up.
Yeah. My thing is though, like the ISS, like they do like experiments to see how things react in like 0 G, right? But I don't like
Yeah,
what else do they do? I honestly don't know what they do on the ISS.
they do a lot of those tests. Like, for example, they did a test a few years back when they had two people stay on the ISS for a year to see, what happens to the human body if you stay in space for 365
Mm.
days. You
Should
know,
they also like pay people to just lie in a bed and do nothing for months on end because that's
that'd be
equivalent.
horrible.
Yeah. Oh, it would be so terrible. But it's to see what the effects of like muscle atrophy are.
Muscles just fall apart. Yeah.
And your muscles are just like, wait, you don't need us? Okay, we'll just leave.
Well, that's where they get the whole idea of, like, you brought humans to Mars. You have cryo chambers where basically you freeze them, or they go to sleep, and their whole body is kind of frozen in time. And they're minimal burning of calories and everything, and so they're basically just on a sleep.
Oh,
And
so
for
like
them, they go
hibernation.
in, yeah, they go in, they fall asleep, and then they wake up, and boom.
Except the thing is we don't really have we don't got the facilities for that, big man. Like we
Yeah,
don't
but
have
I think,
the technology to wake people up from that.
yeah, like you put them in an artificial coma or something. Yeah.
Well, if you put them in an artificial coma, but then they're still like chilling out, you know? They're still
Yeah.
there and their body
Well, the
still
way
does
that
all of the things that a body would.
feces be like.
Mm.
Well, I think the way they're planning is they're sending in like one or two, yeah, I think two rockets ahead of the crew that will land and just kind of sit there and like deploy or whatever. I don't know if they'll actually build themselves or there'll be any rovers, but they're just going to send over one or two rockets with supplies and building materials. So because like the rocket that the people themselves go on will obviously just have food and supplies for them that they'll be able to use in the time that they're on the rocket for, I think, like, yeah, 7 or 8 months, which is painfully
I
long.
feel like there, I think it's going to be a longer time because with the Mars rover, that can sustain multiple, like hundreds of Gs in the like really rapid deceleration. But
Yeah.
when people are actually going to Mars, I'm pretty sure they spend half the time accelerating and half the time decelerating, um,
I still
so that it can be all safe. Now, that's I'm not fully sure about that. That's just what I had seen somewhere. I think I saw that in a YouTube video, but I'm not honestly sure.
Well, I feel like honestly, we're gonna see a lot of technology invented before people get to Mars. Like it's not as simple as in hopping in a little spaceship and going there. Like the biggest spaceships we have right now are just these little capsules, big massive rocket cannon, and then there's a little capsule for two or three guys, and that's it.
Yup.
And then you go really slowly off into the atmosphere. And sure, SpaceX, modern and amazing and blah blah, but I think they're building this one that recently crashed as a during a test.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was the one that was supposed to like land
Star.
face up. It was like landing using
Yeah,
rockets, and
yeah, but it was just a test
it was just
anyway,
a
and
test,
that happens with SpaceX all
of
the
course.
time. So big
Yeah,
deal.
Elon's not afraid to lose a few million to a failed rocket.
Thing is though, like SpaceX rockets are way cheaper than NASA ones. They're not in the billions anymore, so you save a
Yeah,
lot of money. But I think, yeah, you probably would have to also do some kind of thing where, okay, you shoot up multiple rockets that go to Mars to kind of just sit there. They'd have to literally be,
and like leave
lying there
supplies, of
in
course.
some, yeah, in some, covered area because they'd sit there for 2 years. Because I think you can only every 2 years you can actually go to Mars.
Oh, because the
Otherwise, you just won't
orbits
make
line
it.
up. Yeah.
And that's when it's the like easiest. Otherwise, you'd be flying for years. So I think the worst, like you'd have to basically shoot a bunch of rockets into space, like how what they did with the ISS, and then connect them all together for a bigger space station, and then fly the whole thing to Mars. Or then you set up like satellites that go around Mars, so you have a better communication system with Earth. Because you imagine you'd have like hours where you just can't communicate with Earth because you're on the other side. Mars rotates and all that as well, I think so.
Yeah, and then there will also be the issue of like what's gonna happen when like Earth and Mars are on other sides of the sun. Like what?
Yeah, exactly. So there's this whole idea that basically we colonize the moon and we have a base on the moon. I
Oh,
think the
use it as
Russians
like
want to
a
get there. I
launch.
have no idea how they're doing that. Yeah, and then you kind of boost up because you're already here. So you kind of
And I
boost
guess
over, but
that does make sense because then you're out of the main gravitational pull of the Earth, and the gravity on the moon is
yeah.
a lot like weaker. So yeah, I think that would be cool because then all of your big chunky rockets are spent getting your stuff to the moon, and then whatever can be done there. But it's so many years down the line in my view, you know?
They say the crew that have already been selected and they already have the guys ready. So
Mm.
I think that they probably maybe they just don't talk about it as much. Probably SpaceX probably have something set up already, but they just don't want to say everything because then obviously, Boeing and NASA and everyone else jumps on top of them and steals all their ideas and, basically races them to Mars, which is silly. So maybe they just don't want to say as much. But I still see like you see it in science fiction movies where they build their whole thing in the orbit and then they go flying to Mars or wherever. I feel like that's just a way more obvious solution to build because in that teeny weeny capsule, people are going to go mad. They're humans and they're going to be there for 8 months. They need somewhere to go. They need space. So,
No pun
so you're gonna
intended,
have
eh?
to need you're gonna need a bigger ship with more room and cabins and so on. And
Yeah,
there
of
is
course, yeah.
there is the whole obvious problem of gravity as well. And you can say, yeah, they can work out, but they're still in space. And then they'll come back to Mars. They'll go to Mars. They'll be in a suit. It'll be constant claustrophobia, basically.
Mm.
Although
Though I'm
there
pretty
was this
sure on
quite interesting.
Mars they were thinking of doing like a sort of a habitat situation where you like have this sort of like basically this building on Mars where you can just be in like normal, and you don't have to wear your suit all the time and all that, and then you can walk around and do your thing on Mars. just vibe out,
Yeah, I
and
feel
then you only
like
need to put on your suit when you go outside.
yeah, I know I saw a video like that where NASA were basically getting a bunch of people testing what you can do with the soil on Mars, but I feel like the first people will probably show up and live in their rocket, just live in there because it's the biggest place around until they build up their base or whatever. And then there's also the
Mm.
whole question of how do you get food and water. Yeah, sure, you can't recycle your own feces 100,000 times. It doesn't work. We're not in Martian here, where you put a little flap over your window and fly off. I find
Literally,
that
oh
scene
man,
so annoying.
so derpy.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, let's just put a propeller at the end of our rocket and go through space like that. It's
Ugh.
a submarine now. Bloop bloop bloop.
Yes, let me just use my turbine to fly through zero atmosphere.
Yeah. I was watching this other video, it's quite interesting that artificial gravity can kind of be created by, the whole, you see it in a lot of science fiction movies where they have a
Like
sphere, kind
spinning.
of like a
Like
circle
spinning.
thing, yeah, going around the rock or the ship, and that does actually kind of work. That you can create, like they've tried it on Earth, the smaller, where they had something spinning and the person was walking on it, but it's not advanced. And then how would you build a mat? Like you'd have to build a really big ring, obviously, in
Yeah.
space, and you have to think that ring needs armoring. Hits a little rock, boom, the whole thing's destroyed. So
And also like
yeah,
all the cladding against like solar radiation and everything.
yeah, that's the thing. Like you can't actually build. They actually use a kind of a net around the ship, like on the ISS. They have a net. They don't have armor. They've tested like proper so many inches thick armor, and a teeny weeny rock punches straight through it because it's going so fast.
Mm.
So
I find
it's
that
quite
crazy.
difficult. It is.
Like I remember even I think it was a few years ago when a few years ago, maybe it was only 2 years ago, I don't know. But there was like an asteroid in Chelyabinsk in Russia.
Yeah.
Um and it was only I think 2 meters wide by the time it landed, and yet it created like a huge crater and like fires and everything. And it like
Yeah,
shattered the windows in houses like 20 kilometers away.
that's exactly why you don't need a Earth-sized asteroid to come here and ruin us. You just need some basic ass little rock to say hello.
Yup.
Although it is interesting, NASA do have all these like plans, in case, like the U.S. military has all these different defense things, and one of them is against asteroids, and putting like asteroids, like nukes on the asteroid and blowing it up, or putting lasering it, all these different ideas. They even if you're talking about plans, they also have a plan. This is really funny. They have a plan against a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, it's not nothing. It's nothing crazy. It's literally, but it's like in case something like that ever happens, they're ready. It's
The
really
US
funny.
Army are doomsday preppers.
Well, they kind of have to be, I guess, if everyone
Yeah,
in the world
I
wants to
know.
kill you.
But still, it's just funny. So, yeah, I just find that madness that the US military have a plan against a zombie apocalypse. Like, what the hell?
Well, I guess that's just you have a plan for anything that you can always activate, and in that sense, then you're lucky, I guess, because you're not unprepared. You physically can't be unprepared.
Expect the unexpected, young one.
I honestly feel it's kind of cool. But also with the
I
whole
don't really.
Mars
Oh,
thing,
sorry, continue.
like, okay, you get there, and like, let's say you have like food sorted out.
All
They've
right.
forgotten the fact that like materials and stuff deteriorate over time. Like all your gear will slowly wear out and break, and like, you'd have to bring ridiculous amounts of like supplies of just bolts or like so many more suits, or like fuel, or like the amount of equipment you have to bring with you is ludicrous.
And that's not even taking into account like all of the sort of like harsh weather that they have as well.
Yeah. Although I don't know if there's that many storms. Is there that many storms on what's it called, Mars?
I don't know how many storms they get, but like the landscape does like move. Like there are quite a lot of like sunstorms I've heard. I don't know. I'm not fully sure.
All right. Sandstorm. So, well, imagine if we were in Star Wars, we could just show up in our ship, boost in, and land perfectly easily.
And then casually just breathe normally, as they seem to on
Yeah,
every single planet.
that weirds me out. How they don't ever have to have like a spacesuit or something. Like, yeah,
Like, or like in, I don't know if you'll remember this, but in episode 4, when they're like just driving through space, and then like in the Millennium Falcon, and they're being chased by the TIE fighters, and what they do is they like stop on an asteroid, and then they're like, oh, this feels unstable. So they all walk out into space wearing only gas masks. And you're like, wow, wow, so you don't explode?
well, they're not exactly gas masks. There's obviously some kind of setup, and they are in an animal, if you
That's true.
remember.
They're in the whatever snake's throat. Was it a snake?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a big chunky thing.
And there were other animals in there, although those were apparently silicon based, so rip on them.
Who said they were silicon based?
Oh, just no, that's just the whole story. They live in space, and that's why those bird flappy things that live inside the worm are like silicon based, because carbon based life forms wouldn't be able to live in space.
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Like that's also a whole like danger. What if like silicon based life forms come to the world? Like what would we do? You can't burn them.
I don't
It
know.
doesn't affect them, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not
Well, what
100% sure.
reacts with silicon?
Yeah, we gotta get out our silicon sprays.
Yeah, that's that would be really weird. And I wonder, like, if aliens were to be a thing, I do wonder what they would look like.
I think they would just definitely just look like nothing we know,
Of course.
because we always expect them to look a certain way, but they're never going to look the way that we expect them to. Who knows? We will find aliens and they'll just be some form of humanoid living being on another planet, and we'll walk along and murder them and take all their stuff. Flute, flute, flute.
Because, woo, America,
Fuck yeah.
freedom. We're,
We are.
well, I don't know where I was going with that actually. I kind of forgot what I was going to say. Like, I started it, and I was like, oh, wait. Oh, wait, I have nowhere to go.
Imagine being able to hold a conversation in lockdown. Whew.
Who couldn't be us? We totally don't
Challenging.
talk every day.
Yeah, we talk too much. I think it's time to have a break.
Damn. Damn.
God, imagine Not imagine. Remember when we were in primary and all the girls like always had like their crushes on what is it? That boy band. One Direction.
One Direction.
Oh, oh.
Oh,
And like I remember like one of the guys, his sister was really into it, into the whole like thing. So then we would, for some reason, we had this thing where we'd run around with sticks and break them. Be like, yeah, they're breaking up, and and it'd be all like, stop, and it was just, oh, we were all so cringy.
I'm sorry, but when I don't remember that. I
I
don't
don't know
remember
if
that.
you exactly were there, but they were all like obsessed with One Direction, and then like,
No, I remember the One Direction craze. I just don't remember running around with sticks and being like they broke up. Oh, I remember this one day. On the radio on the bus coming into school, it was like April Fools, and they put up an April Fools thing being like, "Yo, One Direction broke up,"
oh god,
and
stop,
I was happy for a day.
until you got pranked. It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah,
Oh.
9-year-old Aina was like, "Were we 9?"
And then in the probably, and then in like I think it was the last year, they were all so obsessed with Despacito, Luis Fonsi and Justin Bieber. Oh,
Oh, bruh,
but that was so long ago.
craziness.
That was how many years ago?
So long ago, 4 years.
Fuck, we were like what, 13?
I
Yeah.
was 13, like for the last month. Like I turned 13 in the last month in
Yeah.
June. So
It's like 4 years ago.
yeah, that's crazy.
Why do I feel old all of a sudden? Jokes.
It's like, oh yeah, we feel old, realizes we're still 16, and we're like, oh, okay, it's chill.
Wait, what What month is it?
No,
March?
dude, it's February 17th.
Oh, it's like the 6th, 17th. Okay, well, no, in 2 months, it's already my birthday again. Then I'll be 17. Yikes!
Yikers.
I'll be an old man. Arr.
Christoph, Mr. Owl fella.
Oldie, me back. Oh, yeah. Yesterday, I was digging out a pool from my neighbors, so now I have muscle pains in the weirdest places
Oh,
possible.
well, yesterday I was digging trails in the woods for mountain bikes, and then I decided to ride the trail on someone else's bike.
I'm gonna take my horse to I
Why are
don't
you
even know the
singing
song
Old
anymore.
Town Road? Anyways, no, I crashed.
I'm
I
gonna take
crashed big
my
time.
horse. Na.
It was hella
Yeah,
crash.
Aina can't drive.
I went over a jump and I ended up riding for like 3 meters on my front wheel. And then because, wait for it, European brakes, the brakes were on the wrong side. So I ended up pulling the front brake accidentally. So then I just got yeeted into
Great.
a gorse bush and shredded my knee. So I have a really deep cut on my knee and then loads of just little scratchy scratches.
I remember that happened to me once after I had put my bike, for the brakes to be tightened and all those things, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, cycling time!" Flying over the front gear onto the road, chest
Oh, that's
first.
so
Oh,
horrible.
yeah, that is. It's all honestly, it is kind of horrible when you land on your back or your chest and you're winded, and there's that weird pain in your chest, and you're like,
Oh, and then after I
you know.
shredded my knee, do you know what I decided to do? I decided to go off a drop, and I managed to do the exact same
Round
thing. I
two,
pulled the front
baby.
brake, and like I went off the edge of it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to stop, because it was like a super steep thing, and I didn't want to like keep going down the trail. I wanted to stop, so I was like, okay, I'll pull my brakes. Oh crap, that's the front brake again, and I landed, and I just got yeeted forwards. Um, And I remember, like, I got it on video. One of the lads videoed it. Social distanced, of course. He was more than 2 meters away in a tree, literally in a tree to get the footage. Still turned out to be super
Lol.
trashy video, but anyways. Um, and yeah, I just ended up getting absolutely creamed. And I remember going over the bars, and as I went over the bars, I just remember shouting, "Balls!" Like I was,
Oh.
like I felt the entire thing kicking over, so I just like let go of everything and jumped into the bush, and then shouted "balls," and then the bike fell on top of me. Yeah, it
Wow.
was very fun. But hey, I didn't break the dude's bike, which is unreal because I would have felt super bad if
I'd
I
love
broke his
to.
bike.
Well, duh, he'd be a
Of
bit boring.
course. Like, I don't want to
And
break
just
someone
for some
else's thing.
reason, when you
Oh,
talk
continue.
when you talk about cycling, I just think of skiing all of a
Oh, I
sudden.
wanted to go skiing so many times, or snowboarding either.
Well, apparently snowboarding is harder to learn and easier to master, and skiing is easier to learn and harder to master.
Ah, it's
So
one
there
of
you have it.
those.
I know to ski how to ski. It's kind of cool. I haven't done it in like years now, but oh, I'd love to do that or learn to snowboard.
Well, Christoph, there's always when we're older we can go learn to ski.
Yeah. Although I want to go. I want to go like I don't know when I'm 18 for like my birthday. I want to go to like Iceland or
That would be
something.
sick. I will come with.
Get away. Loki, I have a feeling it'll be the first time we'll get out of the country again. But yeah.
Don't talk like that.
Let us
Don't.
out. We're in jail. Ah!
Oh, that that hits deep.
Clang, clang. Help.
Please help me. I am under the water. You may
Oh
not have
wow!
seen that
Please help
video.
me. I am
It's
underwater.
it's a
Yeah.
video online. It's like a stupid meme. If you haven't seen it, you're
Are they
probably
like on a
lucky.
boat?
No, no, it's the one.
I've seen like
It's
an
this like Pakistani dude with like a beard,
yeah,
but
I know, but I've seen
he has like a stupid
yeah,
filter
I
over the
know.
thing, and he's like, "You're so beautiful. Please help me. I'm under the water."
No, I know another one where it's like there these like women are in a boat and they're going down the river and then there's just an oil tanker in the water like basically flooded completely underwater and they're driving past and they just hear the horn honking and then it like cuts to the guy in
Ah,
there and
please
it's
help me.
like
I'm under
please
the.
help me I am under the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
the craziness. The stuff that we see online, though.
It's just stupid. I witnessed someone die and it kills me. It was on TikTok. And basically they're on a bridge and they're like, get on the ground, get on the ground. It's like a police officer getting out of his car with a pistol, get on the ground, and there's a kid committing suicide. He's hanging on with one arm on the other side of the bridge. It's like, get on the ground, the kid, let's go. And it's like, oh.
That's so sad.
It's like, why? It's like it's so you laugh because the officer is so stupid. It's like get on the ground, har har.
It's just
You know,
like
he's committing
it's like
himself, like
okay, if you're
killing himself.
pointing a
Like
gun at him, he's not scared. He he's literally
no, but
trying to die.
it's
Like,
just
oh, that's so sad, man.
I know, but it's kind of just funny as well because the officer is so stupid, and he looks. I think there was a river under it. I'm not sure, but I think there was a river, so the kid survived. But I'm not 100% sure. But it's so like,
But like
like
of all the ways to go, I would hate to drown. Drowning
oh
and
yeah,
burning, I feel
must
like
be the
are
worst.
super horrible.
Yeah, I'd love to just sniper bullet through the head. That's it, gone. You never even
Super
notice.
chill, yeah.
Or like a plane crash, like you go crashing into a mountain and you never even
Well, go
noticed.
crashing into the
You're so
mountain,
dead
you're like,
before you know it.
ah, I'm gonna die, okay. And then boom,
Yeah,
dead.
but you know
Broken
how
neck.
You know how fast
Yeah, I
those
know.
planes go? They go so fast that your receptors can't even. There is no pain. Obviously, you imagine pain. There's never pain.
You're
You're
just
just
dead.
gone because your receptors of the pain just can't take it in
Yeah,
quickly
you're
enough.
dead
Quick
before
enough.
you
So
can actually understand the pain that you've been.
turned into some nice moosh.
I feel like people are always like, "Oh, he went peacefully in his sleep. That's what he would have wanted." I'm like, "No, I don't want to go peacefully in my sleep. That's boring."
Aina wants to die fighting. Aina wants to die on a battlefield, fighting for his fellow
No,
soldiers.
ain't no one.
Dual MGs in his hands. Ah!
Oh, no, no. Stop with this stupid. Um,
No, he wants to get assassinated in his sleep. He's be there snoring, thinking of, some weird thing, and then
I guess because when you're
dead.
sleeping, you're thinking. Technically, yeah,
No, but
dreams.
dreaming, you know what I mean.
Or, oh, dies falling off bike down mountain.
That's how Aina will go. Ball!
Dropping off the cliff. Ah, shit. No. I'm just gonna send it off the edge of the mountain. Oh, no.
I'm just gonna send that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
No, it reminds me. Have you seen those videos? It's like shot on iPhone memes, like dan 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 dan. It's like a song. Wait, I'll find it in a second. But basically, the guy's skiing and he's going around. A guy skis past him and he just flies off a cliff.
Why are we laughing? This is
It's
horrible.
so it's it's not. No, he survives. He lands at the bottom, and because it's a really really thick layer of
So then he just
snow.
lands
It's like
in
2 meters. So he just
like a cushion.
yeah.
Oh, how it feels to chew five gum. I
Oh
don't know if you
God.
guys have ever seen those videos. Um, you should. I don't know if I can recommend them because they're a bit horrible, but they're just quite funny. How it feels
But
to chew five gum, and then it's like something really weird happens, and it's like stimulate your senses. Like there was this one where this
dude.
guy jumps off a roof onto a seesaw, but misses with his legs and just hits his crotch. And it's like how it feels to chew five gum, stimulate your senses. Like why are we
At
this
that
messed
point,
up?
like no, but at that point, you must literally just have like
Nothing left.
what is
Nothing
it?
left.
No, there's this thing that happens if you get kicked in the balls too hard. And basically, your balls go inside you.
Oh,
They
oh
go through
no.
your like.
Ooh, ah, I don't want to think about that. I was happy
Yeah,
laughing at it, but
yeah. But
now I'm having
now
secondhand
that you mentioned it,
pain. Are you still there?
uh, uh, yeah, I'm still
Oh, good.
here. I'll show you the
I thought it was
song.
lagging.
Uh,
Maybe don't play it on here. It might
if it's
be
gonna play.
copyrighted or whatever. Dude. Oh, yes. Now you can
Yeah,
stop it.
probably it is.
Yeah, no,
But
but everyone knows it from those like 2
yeah.
seconds.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun, dun,
dun,
and
dun, dun, dun,
he
dun,
goes
dun.
flying off the thing. Dun, dun, dun. But there's so many of these iPhone memes, and they're all horrible. Like there's another one where a guy gets out of his car and drinks like the last sip of his alcohol, like his beer, and then just gets tasered by a cop and falls over. It's like what? And there's so many of these stupid shit happening.
That's so horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I saw this video of this guy, right? He's walking down the street. He gets hit by a bus. A bus crashes into him. He eats him on the floor. The bus hits a lamppost, knocks the entire lamppost over. The bus careens into the wall of a shop. The dude rolls
And like
over, gets
gets
up,
up.
and walks into the pub next door. Like I'm
It's like
literally,
GTA like
literally cyberpunk logic.
cyber. Oh, have you seen that? And it's like the advanced scaling whenever there's fear, blah 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 blah, and they're like talking about how advanced it is, and then it's like someone shoots a gun on the road. All the characters just teleport out of the car and run away. It's like,
Oh,
wow,
I saw this
very, very
one
advanced physics here
where
you
it was
got.
this
Oh.
crab edited to a tank. So it was a crab with like a turret coming out of its face and like tracks, but with its
Oh
like
god.
pincers. Oh, I don't know why I made that. It made me think of that.
It's like Crab Rave.
Don't-
Boop boop boop.
I
I
forget
can
the
forget
tune
the
of
theme, but
Crab Brave, yeah.
oh,
Shot on iPhone. I'll shoot you on an iPhone. Wow,
shot
okay.
on
Just
iPhone.
so you know, that was not
Bang!
an actual threat, Mr. YouTube algorithm.
Real guns, fake
For
everything.
legal purposes, this is all for entertainment.
We're just
Also,
idiots,
for like
so don't take
normal
it serious.
purposes, like we don't actually mean to offend anyone. That would be disrespectful.
But also, if you get offended by everything we say, why are you still listening?
For real,
No
for
offense, but
real.
like,
If you get offended, don't listen because you'll just get offended, and we don't want to offend you. So stop. But if you don't get offended, well, we appreciate you.
oh,
Oh, I picked
that crab
crab.
makes me think of there's like a fucking crab droid in Star
Crab
Wars. It's
droid in
literally a
Star
crab,
Wars. Yeah. Oh, in the
but it has
episode of
lasers.
Clone Wars that I'm watching now, there's a crab droid. It got blown up, which sadly,
What episode?
the episode it's during season 3. Sorry guys, there may be some spoilers coming ahead. You can skip through if you want to, or you can just listen because it's probably not going to be deep spoilers. But it's the section with the Citadel, where Obi-Wan
Oh yeah.
and Anakin and Ahsoka have to save the Jedi. I haven't actually finished the sequence yet. They're still stuck
Is it the one where
on the island.
they're like they freeze themselves in
Yeah,
carbonite,
yeah, to
and so
pass
then
the
they
life
sneak
form
past,
trackers.
and your man R2 has like his droid squad. Oh, love
I
it.
know, they're so
I
legendary.
love.
I wish he could have kept them for the
It's
entire
so cool.
thing because they were so funny.
Yeah. The Citadel does seem like a shit show though, like a hellhole. Like you just don't want to be there. You got a droid fleet in the orbit. You got loads of like turrets and just everything. It's just not meant to survive. But of course, plot armor, so they survive.
But I'm just amazed by how this can be a kids show. Like it's got it's got like torture, it's got political terrorism, it's got murder,
yeah,
it's got general battle scenes. Like what?
battle scenes where people get mowed
For
down.
real?
Yeah.
And like literally in that sequence, it's all like, oh, capture the Jedi and torture them slowly. And I'm like, how is this a kids show?
The kids, they're like at 5-year-olds, like yes, yes, my precious.
Oh,
You know?
wow, going what's that crossover episode, Christoph? Gollum in Star Wars.
when when all your when your children when it's lockdown and your children have been spending too much time inside in their bedrooms with their computers and they're all golems.
Oh,
Gollum, Gollum.
Gollum,
Oh.
Gollum. Oh man. Honestly, Gollum had a sad life though.
He is a sad life.
For
He
real.
represents a sad life.
Exactly.
He represents what you shouldn't be and shouldn't do.
He just got taken over
Like
by the ring. He killed his friend.
he got killed.
No, he killed his friend instantly after getting the ring. Literally, he got the ring,
For the
and
ring.
then he was like, "Oh, you want to take a look at the ring? No, you don't. I'll just choke you to death." And then he spends like 500 years in a cave. Like, I quite like this ring. Guess I'll just sit here for
Just vibing.
500 years. And it's so
What oofs
depressing.
me is how in 500 years technology doesn't advance in that universe. We got bows and arrows and swords. 500 years. We still got bows and arrows and swords. I mean, come on, guys.
Well, if you think about it, that's kind of how it was in our universe. Like, if you think about,
Not really.
like, obviously it advanced a bit, but not so much. Like, if you think about from like Viking times, they used bows and arrows and swords. That was like sort of 700 AD. And then in the Middle Ages, that was like 1400. They were still using bows and arrows and swords. Obviously, they were like throwing fire at each other and they had bigger castles, but not much had changed.
I'm sure had gunpowder as well.
Well, China had had gunpowder for years and years.
Hmm. Like the English Empire was going around doing its thing,
Mm.
blowing people up,
Enslaving the Irish for 800 years. No biggie.
making the Chinese addicted to opium.
For real. Damn, history is mad. We could talk
It's a
about
lot of
that.
killing.
We could talk about that on the podcast next week. Stay
Hmm.
tuned.
Plug. Oh yeah, don't forget to follow
Don't
our
forget.
Instagram at the one and only Fragging.
Actually, yeah, and we're also, well, if you're listening to this, you're of course on a place where you can get podcasts. But if you tell your friends, which you probably won't, but please do tell your friends. We're on everything. Anchor, we're on Spotify, we might be on Apple Music. I'll need to make sure, but we're on all the major ones like Castbox and them. So yeah, check us out.
We're on YouTube as
We are
well.
on YouTube. That is our main source of views at the moment. All 20 views. Whoop whoop. 20 views
Yeah,
giveaway,
but
guys.
look,
That's a
look.
joke, obviously.
No. I would do a giveaway like maybe 100 subs. Obviously,
Giving
nothing
away
amazing,
what?
but we'd have to think about it. But no one like has subscribed really yet. So like we're not talking about giveaways,
Nah,
okay?
we're not giving away anything. We might do a
A
special where
few,
we
well,
mention, oh, we have 100 subscribers, but that's about as special
I
as it'll
would.
be. Yeah. But
No,
what would
because
we
we could
give?
make merch.
We could make
We could
merch,
make merch.
but we would need so many people to buy our merch, let's be honest.
We would, yeah, we would,
There's
of
no point
course.
in
But
making
like,
merch for all three people who would buy it.
now, but like, yo, if you're still listening here now, that's cool. And if you've anyone who'd be interested, make sure to share it to them. And if you're still here, 50, 40 minutes in, I mean, that's kind of cool. Like, you're actually, I don't know, somehow interested by the crap coming out of our mouths. I mean, I would never have thought that someone's interested in what we say. So
Yeah.
apparently someone might be. So that's cool. And please subscribe.
Yeah, we're glad that you care. We appreciate you guys. Woo. Go team. Go team.
You sound so dead.
Woo woo. Yeah,
So,
thank you
guys,
guys. We appreciate you guys so
hello.
much. Oh man,
No, but like, if you're here,
we do
we
actually care a
appreciate you.
lot. This is big. Woo.
No, but like, if we ever get there, like, I think at least 1,000 subs, I would do a giveaway of I don't anything. Like,
We'll figure something out. Probably not nothing epic, let's be honest.
yeah, but if we got to 1,000 subs, we'd have to, because
Yeah.
like,
That's such a surprise, honestly. It'll
that would
probably
be
take us
epic.
a long time to get there, let's be
Like
honest.
a year. But
Hmm.
I mean, like with these lockdowns, nothing's gonna change anyway.
Except the funny thing is, like I've seen this with lots of the YouTube channels that I follow. Like there's this one guy, Joshua Weissman, he makes food, but he made it to 1 million subscribers at I think last year, and then now he has 3.6 million subscribers. Like it just snowballs so quickly. Like your first
That's like Mr. Who's the Boss.
exactly, yeah. And it happened like it's so common. Like you get your first few subscribers and they're the slowest, you know? But then after that, it just keeps getting recommended to more and more people because the YouTube algorithm is
Yeah.
like, wait, people care about you? Oh, maybe more people will care about you
Well, I just hope that we keep this going for as long as possible,
for long enough to people. Well,
that people find us. Yeah.
that's what I meant to say, but my brain just stopped
Apparently not.
working halfway
Apparently not.
through. Yeah, that would be mad. Anyways, that's a long time in the future, so we're just going to continue talking until then,
Yeah, but
if that ever
I
even
mean,
happens.
like, ambitious, but
Very
I guess
ambitious.
it's good. I guess it's good to be ambitious instead of having no goals at all.
Mm. And I guess
Like,
if we keep an upload schedule, we might we might get some people who care.
please care about us.
Please
We're
care.
lonely.
Please care. We're lonely. Yeah, but that doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. It's more we need assertment.
But I don't know, like, if you're here and maybe you hate TikTok, but like, to be honest, I see people getting TikTok like views on TikTok so easily, and it's giving me like motivation. It's giving me, like a bit of a little bit itch, a little of a,
Should we make a TikTok, guys? Should we make a TikTok? Comment down
like
below.
no one
No
comments.
one will
Yeah.
comment. Ah well.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I feel like that would be kind of cool. Because no, it'd be a way to like loop people over here.
um,
You know,
yeah, that's true. Though the crossover rate is quite low, I've found. Like with Ryan Marr, his crossover rate is quite low.
it was like 2,000 people, which obviously isn't anything. It's like 2,000. Like that's two
That's a
thousand
lot.
physical people. You couldn't fit them in your house, could
Humans,
you?
of course, yeah. You're like, oh, 2000 so little. But like, obviously compared to the people who have like hundreds of millions. But then you're like,
Honestly, that's just insane. Like PewDiePie's like what 108 million subscribers,
mm-hmm.
and it's
For
like
one dude,
108. Okay, that's like the population of Russia.
like
It's like
literally, that's like so many people. Like the people who have like 100,000 subscribers. That's like huge. Like that's as many people as you can fit in like a big like sports stadium.
yeah.
Like
And then like 50,000
huge.
people is like it's massive. Even 10,000, even 1,000, or even like 500. Like
It's still craziness, exactly.
because you could never with
Like
500 people, you could never remember all their names
that's as
ever.
much as like a small village.
Yeah. And then 1,000, 2,000. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like 100 would be like, or even 10. Even if we had 10,
10 people.
and we don't know. I know I have like 19 subscribers on my other, but they're all like people that just over the years found my YouTube channel and like know me in person. If we got 10 people to subscribe that we don't know,
I think that
I
would
feel
be
like
big.
that would already, because once you know someone if you don't know is listening, that's like motivation to be like, yes.
Let's work for this person, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so then if you get to like 20 and then 30 and then 50, and you get like, let's say 20 or so views, so they're actually listening, then you get 100, you get 50 views. So you know people are actively interested, and it just gets cooler and cooler. And yeah, but I just hope that happens. I'm probably being really optimistic, but
we are being really optimistic, but
negative.
Give it a few months. We might have a few subscribers. You never know.
Yeah. Anyway, let's stop hanging on it. Otherwise, we sound needy and
that's very
sad.
true. So, on that bombshell, we'll leave you. Good night. Well, for us, it's good night. For you, it could be any time in the day or
Good
night.
morning. Good evening.
Good afternoon. Good day. Good night.
Wake up. Have a good day of work.
Soothing.
How was your day of work?
How was your day? Wow, this is turning a weird turn. Okay. How's about we'll just leave you off and say, yeah, if you liked it, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it.
Like, share, subscribe, dislike.
Do whatever. Do whatever you want. Just have fun with it. We care. And we'll see you the next time.